Hi everybody and welcome to a Grimdark Future Firefight Battle Report. The Human Defense Force versus infected colonies. Commander Kruit was aware that Crapus 4 was quickly becoming a huge battleground between several enemy forces and what Kruit considered his allies. The Prime Brothers and the Battle Sisters had just fought hard against the legions of the Robot Lord. Kruit feared that the forces of Havoc were also gathering troops for a larger assault. His squad had moved from city to city in search for more intel and to clear out potential smaller groups of enemies. So far, without result. But this city was different. The city center was completely dead and the stench was horrible. Movement was soon detected around the outer buildings of the city square. Kruit had time to position his troops, but he had no idea what was waiting in the ruins. Commander Kruit is armed with plasma pistol and energy sword. He has the take aim command. His trusty Sergeant Dooney is armed with shred rifle and has field radio. Corporal Slick armed with sniper rifle, camel cloaks and also stealth. Then we have Private Miles with field radio armed with flamethrower and he has Strider. And finally an infantry squad also with field radio, 2 regular rifles and 1 shred rifle. And creeping up on them is a bunch of zombies from the infected colony. We have zombie ravens with flying ability and beak attack, 2 two-headed zombie dogs with vicious jaws and scout, 2 boomers with toughness 3 and able to explode in close combat, and 2 groups of regular slow zombies but with regeneration and claws. All of them are undead. Here we have a top view of the city center battlefield. In each corner we have a deployment marker for a random deployment. This is a kill or survive mission, which means that at the end of turn 4 we will see how much is left in either squad. And deployment is like this with Commander Kruit in the section B deployment zone in the middle and the infected colonies deploying 6 inches within each corner. So first let's have some random deployment. Each unit of infected colonies will roll a 4-sided die and there will be a maximum of 2 units in each deployment zone. After random deployment in the lower left corner we have a zombie dog and a group of zombies. In the upper left corner the ravens and a boomer. The upper right corner the second group of zombies and the second boomer, and in the lower right corner the second zombie dog. And now Commander Kruit will deploy his troops. And he has chosen to deploy himself here next to the flamethrower. The infantry squad here trying to pick up the threat from the upper left corner, the sniper strategically positioned on the fountain, and Sergeant Dooney guarding the right flank. Now let's see who will activate first. The infected colonies will use the red dice. And here we have a roll of 4. And the black dice for the Human Defense Force. And with a 6, Commander Kruit will activate first. Before the beginning of the first round, the zombie dogs will use their scout ability to move 12 inches closer to the targets. So now the zombie dog will be able to reach Sergeant Dooney and the other zombie dog can move 12 inches, just not able to reach Kruit, but very close. Now let's go to round number 1. And Commander Kruit himself will activate first. And first he will call his take aim command to the infantry squad, which means that they and all other units within 6 inches will have a +1 to hit roll. Very useful. And secondly, he decides to rush into action by charging the 2-headed zombie dog. And he will attack it with his energy sword, 2 attacks, hitting on force. So 1 hit. It's not rending, but it's still AP 1, so the zombie dog will have to roll a 6 to defend. And a 6 it is. Could be a decisive dice roll already. The zombie dog does not fight back. Instead, the first zombie to activate is the first boomer, who rushes close to the infantry squad here. And with a quick response, the infantry squad moves back to back with the flamethrower, and from here they have a clear shot at the boomer. And they shoot with 2 regular rifles and 1 shred rifle, and the shred rifle is the yellow dice, and they are hitting on a 4. So already here, a couple of hits, and 2 hits, and the shred rifle is rending. That means 3 defense rolls for the boomer, a yellow die where he will need a roll of 6, and 2 red dice with a roll of 4 to defend this attack. And he defends 1 of the regular hits from the rifle and fails the other 2. So that means 2 wounds to the boomer. He has a toughness of 3, so it's not enough to stun him. The zombie dog saved its close combat attack, so it's not fatigued. It has 2 attacks, 1 for each head, hitting on 4, and with a double 1, no hits this time. Commander Kruit is fatigued, but he decides to fight back anyway, 2 attacks, needing a 6, and also he fails his target. Corporal Slick with the sniper rifle has a range of 30 inches, so he can easily target the approaching zombie dog. He will need a 2 to hit. And with a 3, the shot is good. It's an AP1, and the zombie dog will need a 6. Close, but not enough. So the zombie dog takes 1 wound, and that's enough to take him down and stun him. But he will have to roll on the wound chart, of course. And with a roll of 3, he is stunned. The first group of zombies move closer. They are slow, so their maximum range of movement is 8 inches. So they rush closer, but they are still out of reach. The brave and trusty Sergeant Dooney breaks formation and charges the stunned zombie dog. And by charging the dog, it's automatically taken out and will be the first casualty of this battle. The second group of zombies also move slightly closer to the heat of the battle, and they of course also have a maximum range of 8 inches. Private Miles with the flamethrower moves 6 inches up on top of the fountain because he wants to have the higher ground. And from here he can target the boomer with 6 shots from his flamethrower. And he will hit on a 3 because of the take aim command. So 3 hits in total against the boomer. It's an AP nothing weapon, so the boomer will save on 4s. And he saves at least 1, but 2 hits go through, and that will take him to a total now of 4 wounds. And with a toughness of 3, that takes him down, not 5 but 4 here, and he will have to roll on the wound chart. And with a 6, the boomer explodes out of range of the infantry squad and will be the second casualty of this game. Way to go, Human Defense Force. The second boomer moves dangerously close to Sergeant Dooney. It's not slow, so it will be able to move 12 inches, but still not enough to reach him. And finally, the ravens attack. And they are flying, so they ignore any obstacles, ruins, or buildings, and that means they reach the infantry squad and can attack them with 3 attacks, hitting on 5s. And with 2 6s here, they land 2 attacks, and the infantry squad will defend on a roll of 5. And they miss them both. So 2 infantrymen leaves the game, leaving 1 with the shred rifle behind. He tries to fight back, but nothing comes out of it. And that means we can conclude the first round. These zombies from the infected colonies are moving closer and closer. And we already have a couple of battles going on. And still we have the strategically positioned sniper and flamethrower on the fountain. And Dooney is a bit alone here, very close to the boomer zombie. But they have taken out 2 units of infected colonies, so let's see how things will turn out in round 2. And round 2 will begin exactly the same way as round 1, with Kruit calling his take aim command and attacking the zombie dog. And he misses both hits this time. Now the zombie dog will fight back with 2 attacks hitting on 4s. So 1 vicious jaw bites Kruit and he will need a 5 to defend. And he does not. So 1 wound. And not very good start here by Kruit. But Kruit's headache is not over yet, because now the group of zombies here are close enough to make a charge. And they have 6 attacks with claws, hitting on 5s. And they manage to land 4 hits on Kruit. They are AP nothing, but Kruit will need a 5 up to defend these 4 claw attacks. And I wonder if he's able to do it. And he saves a single 1, but he will be hit and wounded, so that means he now is going down with 4 wounds. And he will have to make a roll on the wound chart. And with a 2, he is only stunned, but in a very vulnerable position. So, trying to save his commander, Corporal Slick turns his sniper rifle against the zombie dog, because it has not yet activated. He needs a 2, and this one is not good enough, so a second roll here, and with a 4 he hits the zombie dog, and with an AP 1 he needs 6, and once again this zombie dog is very hard to take down. But Kruit is not the only one in deep trouble, because now Sergeant Dooney is attacked by the charging boomer with his poisonous fists. He needs a 4 to hit. On a roll of 6, they will be multiplied with 3, but he only hits 2 regular hits. And Dooney needs a roll of 4 to defend, because he has extra defense. And with a roll of 6, 1 of them is blocked, but the other one goes through, and he is wounded with 1 wound. He goes down, and he rolls on the wound chart, and with a 1, he is stunned. Private Miles once again ready to fire his flamethrower, and he targets the Ravens this time. Still 6 shots, hitting on 4s, and that means a total of 4 hits against the Ravens. They defend on a 5. So let's see how many shots they can defend. And they manage to defend 2 shots. So 2 wounds and 2 Ravens roasted here, but they have a toughness of 3, mostly because there is a bunch of them. And as a response, the toasted Ravens charge the remaining infantrymen, and they need 5s to hit, but they are far from any hits here. And the infantrymen can fight back with 1 close combat attack. And he needs a 5 to hit, so also a fail here. Now, instead of worrying about the Ravens, the infantryman here tries to save Commander Kruit. So he fires his shred rifle with 3 shots against the zombie dog. And 2 shots hit, 1 of them is rending. So the zombie dog will need a 6 up save on the yellow die and a 5 on the red one. And none of the hits are saved, so the zombie dog will get 2 wounds It goes down and it will make a roll on the wound chart to see if it's knocked out or only stunned. And with a total of 5, it's stunned. But not for long though, because it immediately activates and jumps back up. But it's not able to do anything else. The zombie group here can now move very close to the fountain. They are still out of charge range, but in the next round, if the soldiers don't move, they will reach them. And that was the last activation of this round. The zombies get closer and closer. The 2 highest ranking officers of the Human Defense Force are down. And, well, let's see how things proceed in round number 3. Private Miles with the flamethrower activates first. He has several choices, but he decides to target the Ravens once again. And he fires his 6 shots with the flamethrower, hitting with 3 of them. And the Ravens will need 5s to defend. And they get 2 6s. So only 1 wound. It's enough to take them down, but it might not be enough to knock them out of the game. Let's see a roll on the wound chart. And with the 2, they are safe for now. They are only stunned. And it was a gamble to not activate Commander Kruit, so now the zombies can charge him and easily take him out. The highest ranking commander is now out, and Sergeant Dooney is in command. Corporal Slick jumps down from the fountain to get some distance to the approaching zombies. He's now close to the other zombie group, but they have activated, so he targets the zombie dog. He needs a 2, and that's a clear hit. It's an AP1 weapon, so the zombie dog will need a 6, and it fails, goes down with a total of 3 wounds. Now a roll on the wound chart will decide, and with a 2, it is still not knocked out. Sergeant Dooney might be in command, but he is underground, and now he's also taken out of the game by the boomer here, who charges him, and that means that he is history. And casualties are coming quickly now. The infantryman charges the zombie dog, and he also leaves the game immediately. The Ravens activate next. They cannot do anything but to get back on their wings, and that's it. The remaining zombie group, they are just too slow and they still can't reach anyone. They walk around the fountain here and hope to reach someone in the next round. And that concludes the 3rd round with a good deal of casualties here. The boomer, the 2 groups of zombies, and the Ravens are still fighting. We have an infantryman, Corporal Slick, who's now in command, and Private Miles. In the next round, one of the sides lose another unit, and they will be forced to take morale tests. Private Miles moves back, and for the 3rd time, he fires his flamethrower against the Ravens. 6 shots, hitting on 4s. So we have 3 hits again. So 3 5-up saves for the Ravens. They are already wounded, but let's see how many shots they can save. They manage to save one of the flamethrower shots, and that means additionally 2 wounds for the Ravens for a total of 5. And that could be the end of the Ravens. Let's see. And with a roll of 3, it's 8 totally, and that is enough to remove the Ravens, and now the infected colonies are below half strength. Now the boomer here is going to do something about that, so he charges Corporal Slick, and the boomer has 4 attacks with his fist, and for every 6 they will get poisonous. He needs 4s to hit. So 2 regular hits and 2 poisonous hits, and they will be multiplied with 3. That means a total of 8 hits against Corporal Slick. They are AP nothing, but still, he will need a miracle to save this. He needs 5s. Yeah, and it's a decent attempt, but far from enough. 4 hits going through, and Corporal Slick goes down. And not with 1 wound, but with 4, and it's enough to take him out. So now the human defense force are also below half strength. The infantryman moves back and fires his shred rifle against the zombies. He needs 5s to hit, so 2 hits and none of them are rending. So the zombies will need 6s to save. And 1 of the shots is saved and another one goes through. So 1 zombie potentially down, but it will have a chance to regenerate, and of course it does. So back in the group, and nothing really came out of this attack. So of course it's payback time now. They finally can reach someone, and they charge the infantryman here with 6 claw attacks, hitting on 5s. So 4 hits, they are quite effective here. And the poor infantryman will need 5s to save. And he saves 1 of the claw attacks. So he goes down with 3 wounds. And he will have to roll on a wound chart. And with a 1 or a 2, he's still in the game, and he rolls a 1, so he is stunned, but he is not knocked out yet. And finally, the second group of zombies can reach someone. So they charge against Private Miles, who is cornered here in the ruined building. And they too have 6 claw attacks, hitting on 5s. So at least 1 hit here, and 3 hits. They are on point, the zombies here. And he will save on a 4. So he will need 3 4-up saves, and he gets 1, so 2 wounds, and he too goes down. And I think with him, the last hope of a victory for the human defense force. And with a 3, it's a total of 5, so he is still only stunned. But at the end of the round, stunned units automatically fail the morale test. So the infantrymen and Private Miles disappear, and the human defense force are defeated. But the undead also have to make saves. With a 1 or a 2, they will get a wound that cannot be regenerated. The first zombie group here is fine, and the second one loses 1 zombie, but they are still very much alive. But the boomer explodes with 3 wounds, so he is out of the game. But it really doesn't matter in the end, because the final result here is that it's a victory for the infected colonies, and to a surprise, not any of their more specialized units. It is the regular walking dead that stand victorious on the battlefield. Now Commander Kruit faces the consequences. With a roll of 2, he once again recovers. And Sergeant Dooney, with a roll of 1, he is not able to recover, and he is dead. Private Miles, also a roll of 2, and he recovers. Corporal Slick, with a roll of 5, also recovering. And finally, the infantry squad. And with a roll of 6, they earn an additional XP point. But still, it was a loss, and the consequences are high. Sergeant Dooney is no more. So Corporal Slick is promoted to Sergeant, and Commander Kruit really has to do something in the future. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you'll join me for future bat reps.